Welcome to Hippie Happy Homeschooler. My name is Gina, and today on my homeschool YouTube channel, I'm going to be talking about a topic that is sensitive in our homeschool. I debated whether or not to share about it because it is kind of a personal experience, and I want to be really careful and cautious when sharing about it because I want to respect my daughter and her struggles that she has had in this particular area, but because it's such a hard thing to go through and to navigate through, it's nice to know that there are other people who have gone before you or who understand what it is that you're walking through and who maybe have found some solutions or encouragement or just understanding, more than anything, to know you're not alone and that there are options and that there's help. So that's why I've chosen to come on and talk about this. My daughter has something called dyscalculia. And if you're not familiar with it, it is a math, I don't like the word disability because I just feel like everybody's brains operate and understand information differently. So I'm just gonna say it is one of those things that limits how a person understands the information of math because of the way that math is presented to the average person in the school system. So people with dyscalculia can have struggles with anything from understanding the symbols in math to orders of operations. They might have to use their fingers to count repeatedly because they can't retain the math facts. They might need visual aids. They might need math helps in order to help them remember. There's a gamut, so it is like a spectrum, and different children fall into different areas of the spectrum. In our specific case, one of the things that I noticed was definitely the needing to use the fingers, but the sequencing was very difficult for her, still is. Order of operations, like remembering the order of operations in which they should take place. Word problems are very difficult. She has been okay with the math facts, but still at times needs the help of the memory. So I did notice that the memory of facts that she had maybe learned the day before would not stick. That was a major red flag to me. So for us, we really started recognizing these things when she was about in 3rd or 4th grade. It just seemed like basic things, like even kindergarten level, were not sticking. So we went through tutors, and it seems like even tutors couldn't really help her because they would show her things that she would get in the moment, but then the next day it's like it wouldn't be locked into her memory. So this was a struggle, I mean, for her, because we felt like we could never move forward. Now, we are a homeschooling family, so because of this, we were afforded the luxury to really take things slow and at her pace. So one of the things that we did was we enlisted Mathnasium, which, if you've never heard of Mathnasium, they are a fantastic math tutoring company. But we put her in Mathnasium for a few years because we recognized that there was all of these gaps in her math. So in 5th grade, she was still at like a kindergarten level. So we needed to figure out, where are all of these gaps that she's lost along the way that need to be filled in order for her to move forward? And Mathnasium really was significant in that they were able to determine the gaps that she had by the testing that they gave her, and then they were able to work on each gap that she had to a place where she completely understood and could move forward. So they would not move her forward until she had reached a place of proficiency. And this was amazing. Now it's very, very pricey. However, we saw the value in it, and we chose to make the investment in it because she couldn't move forward. And it was not something that I personally could help her move forward in. Math is one of those things, like any other subject. You might understand, but you might not necessarily be able to understand how to teach what you understand. And so I knew that we needed to enlist some stronger soldiers than myself to help her navigate this. So we did do mathnasium for a couple of years. And then when we got to her to a place where she was well past that elementary gap that she was in, we were able to start with the good and the beautiful. The good and the beautiful was excellent for her going forward once she had reached like a 3rd or 4th grade level, because she's a visual learner. She's the colors in the books, and compared with the videos and the instruction that took its time, really helped her to lock into each lesson and go at a very slow pace. Now, the only thing that was a little bit of a struggle was that the good and the beautiful uses a spiralized approach, not a mastery approach. So she would learn something and then they'd move on to a different concept the next day. But because they revisit it frequently, she was able to gain some momentum. So we used the good and the beautiful for level 4 and 5, I believe, and really got her to a place where we felt incredibly comfortable that she had mastered elementary math. Now this is where we gained some growth. We really felt like she needed a change. She was feeling, because she was older than elementary school, even though she was in the elementary grade levels, she really wanted to feel like she had made some progress, and working with the good and the beautiful still made her feel like kind of young and childlike. And she was like, "Mommy, I want to be in an older grade." And that's one of the struggles that you have when you have a child who has some kind of a learning struggle, is that they just really desire to be in the same place as their peers. And so there's this like balancing of wanting to honor where they're at, so that they can make progress gently and not force them forward to a place where they become, where they have a struggle and then they feel defeated. So you don't want to push them too far ahead, and then they realize that they're not capable, and then they feel even more defeated. But at the same time, you want to give them some stretch. So it's kind of a push and a pull kind of thing, and like prayerfully considering like where do we push and where do we pull? Where do we hold back and where do we trust, and see if they can move forward. So this is where we made a little bit of a leap. And Mr. D offers courses for preparing for pre-algebra all the way up through calculus. So preparing for pre-algebra is where we started, because she had mastered elementary, and I cannot say enough good things about Mr. D. We have been using Mr. D for a very long time for my older children. I have twins that are juniors. They started way back in like 6th or 7th grade, and they're juniors now, and they're in pre-calculus, and they've been using Mr. D for the past 5 or 6 years and love him. But I wasn't sure how it was going to work with my daughter, who struggles with dyscalculia, because You have to watch a video, you have to print worksheets, you take quizzes, but there's a lot of grace in Mr. D. His technique and his mindset is one that he wants your child to gain proficiency and mastery. So if you have to take a quiz 3 times in order to get an A, they allow that. They have Zoom classes, I believe, twice a week, where you can go over any homework that you don't understand. You can rewatch the videos over and over. They offer solutions worksheets alongside that you can print out with your work, so that you can see how to do your questions and understand where you went wrong. There's just so much, grace is the best word I can use, because some kids are not good test takers and they need a couple times to really gain proficiency. And so it has been wonderful for her, because for the past several years of her schooling, I have always been right next to her, walking her through every lesson. And this has given her a little bit of independence. So she watches the video by herself. She prints out the work. She works on the work. And then if she gets stuck, then I step in and we work through it together. She takes the tests by herself. If she gets a grade that is not satisfying to her, she's a perfectionist, and so she wants to get all A's. She wants to prove to herself that she's capable. So if she doesn't get an A, she wants to take the test again. So what we do is we print out the test. They allow for you to print out the test, and you can see, where did I go wrong? What question did I get wrong? They don't give you the answer. You still have to work that part out. But you can see which ones you got right, and then you go to the one that you got wrong, and then you really have to work through it. And they'll give you up to 3 tries total. So there's just so much value in the way that Mr. D does their programming and their classes. And so we've gotten her to a place now where she's done with preparing for pre-algebra. So in the coming year, we're going to do their semester classes, which offer in an 11-week period a particular class, and then the next 11 weeks would be another class. So in the coming year, we're going to do pre-algebra in the fall, and then we're going to do algebra in the spring. And I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how she's going to respond to like a little bit of a quicker pace. But she does really love the method and the way that the courses are laid out, and it has been really encouraging for her, and she's built some momentum and some independence, and she's also built some bravery and courage in math that she didn't have before. Math anxiety is a real thing. So it used to be when we would do lessons that her brain would just shut down, and she wouldn't be able to retain anything that we were learning, because she was so anxious that she wouldn't be able to understand it anyways, that she would just kind of shut down. This has built so much confidence in her. So we're going to take it slow. Even though the courses are in a semester, they allow for you to go back and rewatch the videos. So, but she's really determined, because she's in high school now, and she wants to prove to herself that she can accomplish these courses that her peers have done. She's, in her mind, she's behind, but in my mind, I'm so proud of where she has come, and so grateful for the resources that have been available to us. And I feel like it's just a testimony of, I think Charlotte Mason talks about how here a little, there a little, little by little we grow, and this is just such a testimony of that, of her faithfulness, of pushing through something that is very difficult for her. It has been, very, very hard. There has been lots of tears shed throughout the years of her math experience, but it has been something that she will take with her for her entire life, because this has probably been one of the hardest things that she's dealt with in her education life. And it will just prove to her in her future, in other areas of her life, where she can push through really hard things and just continue to be faithful. And that's one thing that she has done. She has just been very, 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 very faithful in her work. No matter how hard it's been, she has done her lessons every single day. In that season where we were doing tutoring regularly and it got exhausting and she did not want to go, she still went, she still showed up. So the reason I wanted to make this video was because I wanted to call attention to the fact that just because a child has an area where something doesn't come easily to them, that you can really encourage your child that there are ways that they can grow. Nobody needs to look like anyone else in their journey. It's just that you have to find out what works well for your learning style and your understanding. And if it takes time, it takes time, but there's value in that. So, you know, this is a child that was on a kindergarten level in 5th grade and is now in high school going to be taking pre-algebra and algebra, which we weren't sure if that was going to be a possibility because the concepts weren't sticking. But because of the resources that we came into contact with and the fact that we continued to just be faithful in it, the Lord just really provided. So it's just one of those things where keep searching, keep trying, keep sitting with your child in it. Keep being faithful in the small things, and it does accumulate over time. And your child learns such valuable lessons, and you will learn such valuable lessons. I have learned so much in this process of just holding her hand through all of it. And, you know, there's been so many days that I too was in tears, you know, just feeling for her and also feeling for myself because I didn't know how to help her. You can't make someone understand something. You can't make someone grasp something. But there is so much fruit that develops in that patience and perseverance. So if you are a family that has a child that struggles in the area of math, I would really encourage you to check out Mathnasium because they're amazing. They have manipulatives and ways of teaching math that is so special, and they really care about their students, and they're very hands-on and one-on-one. So it's worth the money. It's worth the money. The Good and the Beautiful is excellent for those gentle years. So well done, the textbooks and the videos. And then finally, Mr. D for those upper level years when you're ready to sort of let them take flight a little bit more. So valuable. And also another gentle method, because even though they're requiring more of them, the way in which they do it is more gentle, and there's so much grace. So anyways, I hope that this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer if I have the answers. But I just really wanted to share our story so that you could be encouraged and know that there's help available. So God bless and happy teaching.